Hey guys.
There's a young lady, and I believe she's over there, one with the aloe vest. Her name's Aubrey.
So, you guys know me so far predominantly for attacking my massive CD collection, which has been mainly well received. I've only gotten like one or two comments that I've just been like, that's not really nice. But anyways, you guys know me for talking about CDs. However, I have way more forms of physical media than just CDs, and I want to branch out a little bit on this channel. So what are we going to do today? We're going to talk about one of my favorite forms of physical media that I own. Magazine clippings / magazines. Now, if you were around in the 80s, you know about Metal Edge, you know about... you know, if you were around in the 80s, you know about all that, alright? You know about all the famous and predominant magazines. I have two binders here, and both of these binders consist of my 80s magazines / my 80s clippings. What the hell? There we go. Cute little backstory if you're curious as to how I acquired this many clippings. My mother, she is the reason that I got into this music. Her and her brother, my uncle that sadly passed away a couple of years ago, I've mentioned him a couple of times. Those two individuals were what put me on the path of this music. I have grown up with this music. It is why I am the way that I am, thanks to them. So she kept all of her clippings throughout all of the phases of her life. Little did she know that I would soon grow up and say, hey, I need those. So that's all in this binder, and I think we could have a good time just like taking a look and seeing what I have in here. The very first thing that I have them all in page protectors, as you see. The very first thing that I have in here is a handwritten letter from Steve Plunkett of Autograph, my uncle's favorite band ever. Aside from Motley Crue, he loved Motley Crue, was Autograph. He was a big Autograph fan. He wrote, I believe he told me that he wrote multiple times to Autograph and had said so many things like, I love your band, I love your music, that type of stuff. And he finally got a response back from Steve Plunkett, and this is 2 pages worth of a letter. You might be able to read a little bit of it. So I have the 2 pages from this letter. They're extremely yellowed. I did hang them up on my wall at some point. That's what's with the tack. But this was written on December 29th, 1986, and it says, "Dear Brian, don't faint. One of your letters finally got to me." And that's how this starts. So, it's a lovely letter from Steve Plunkett to my Uncle Brian, who kept this all of his years. Very nice letter. It's now in my possession. It's one of my favorite pieces of media that I own. I will never get rid of it, ever. It's going to be with me until my very last days. So, very proud and happy to have this. In addition to that, I have a couple more things here, so let's keep looking. I have some that I guess did not make it into a sheet protector. The last time I looked through all of these was a little over a year ago. That's how long I've been in this house. I moved in. So I have, this is one of my favorites, Stephen Sweet of Warrant. I love this photograph of him. I love the little facts at the bottom. And the back of this is also one of my favorites. It's just quotes from the band members of Poison and Warrant, 2 of my most favorite 80s bands. So I'm a big fan of that. These are mainly stuck together, unfortunately, because I did hang them up on my wall. I was basically just like, you're coming down, and you're coming down, and you're just gonna go right here, and I will deal with it later. And then I never dealt with it, so. This is from one of my friends, Mark Slaughter and Dana Strum. Such a good photo. I cannot believe that I have forgotten that that exists up until this very moment. I could have pulled that out for Christmas time, but did I remember? No. One of my other all-time favorite clippings is right here, and again, it is stuck to another separate clipping. Oh my god. I can fully take responsibility of the fact that I did not take the best care of my clippings when I moved out of my most recent house. That was sort of a catastrophe. I really just rushed through the packing process, but Bruno and Andy of Danger Danger. One of my favorite clippings that I own. I love this photo. I love the pink. They look like they're having so much fun. And I've had that up in every single house that I've moved from. I'm surprised that I don't have it up right now. I tried to be a bit more selective with what I wanted to hang up when I moved into this specific room, because they are very old pieces of paper, and the more wear and tear that they get, the more their lifespan's going to shrink on me. You know what I mean? So this was one of my favorites as well, but it is not hanging up because it is very delicate. It is on its absolute last leg, and it's stuck together in the middle. There we go. A huge Slaughter centerfold. It's ripped right here at the bottom. You can see it's starting to separate, and then it's starting to separate at the top here. So I'm trying to be very careful with this one. It's not going up. It's just too delicate at this point, but I love it so much. It's beautiful. I would hope to frame my centerfolds like this someday. I have one framed poster and it's up there, but oh my goodness, this is one of my favorites. I think I'm remembering now what this is. I think these are my Warrant clippings. I know that was Slaughter. Some of them are mixed in, but predominantly this is a Warrant pile, because in my last place that I lived in, I had a Warrant wall. It was amazing. I loved it so much. This is stuck together. This tack is no joke. Anyways, one of my favorite clippings. You're going to hear me say that a lot. This Eric Turner one. I love this clipping. When I say that it's one of my favorites, I mean top 5. Easy. I've always been obsessed with this photo. I love, again, that it has his facts down here. It's just so much fun. And then, of course, there's Joey Allen on the back. And one of my favorite things about this, Joey Allen's pet peeve, when somebody has sex in my bed, I hate that. So I can only assume that that has happened more than once to him for him to put that in his little article here. This is also one that sadly has taken a little bit of a beating. As you can tell, it's scratched right there from my cat. My cat Fluffy. Yeah, so this was my cat's doing. Still not that happy about it, but you know, we move on. We move on. This is also one of my favorites, Stephen Sweet. I've always loved this photo of Stephen. I love the lighting that's going on here. I think that's just such a good touch. And I'm a big fan of the back as well, Jerry Dixon. I once took a photo inspired by this photo of Jerry Dixon. Oh my god, this one is such a funny story. This clipping right here with the cross the blue line with the Warrant members. Like, I'm struggling to remember the circumstances of me packing these. I truly think I was just taking them all down and I just put them in a pile. And then I must not have separated them after that. I don't know why. Moving on. This I saw online as like a photo, and I was like, oh my god, I have to have that on my wall. Like, where can I acquire this, right? So I found one on eBay, and it was sort of absurdly priced. It was like 20 or so bucks for a magazine clipping. So I was like, I don't think I can spend that much money on a magazine clipping and feel good about it, you know what I mean? So by some magical grace, I found this exact clipping in a magazine I already owned. So I went through the absolutely painstaking process of tearing apart the staples in the magazine, right? Lifting up every single layer until I got to this, which was near the end, might I add. And I slowly but surely had to rip the pages to get this separated. It's a horror story, it's a war story. I survived, and now it's out and about, and it lives. This right here, another one of my favorites. This is what, Metallics? Yeah. One of my favorites of Warrant. I love this photo of them. That pink is so eye-catching. It literally pops. I love it. On the back is Guns N' Roses, by the way. But I have a ginormous Guns N' Roses tapestry over there, so I never really put up photos of Guns N' Roses because of that tapestry. It's huge. Getting into some more of my favorites. Oh my god, it's literally like all Warrant and Slaughter, and like, oh my god. This Warrant cherry pie ad, which I did see someone selling separately on eBay for, again, it was pretty pricey. But this was my mom's, so she ripped this out on her own accord, and you can tell pages are starting to yellow at the edges, and this is one of my favorites just because cherry pie is just such a classic, you know what I mean? Also, one of my all-time favorites, literally most of my all-time favorites for clippings are Warrant clippings, because every single Warrant photo shoot It just looks like they're having the time of their life, and that's so much fun to me. I feel like I'm having the time of my life when I see them. I love this photo. I've never been able to get over this clipping. It is one of my all-time favorites. Let's see if I can just like do a little zoom in action here. All of Warrant, and that's Bobby Brown. I love it. I get some strange looks when it is hanging up. People are like, what's going on there? And then I have to break it down for them, but other than that, it's one of my favorites. This is also one of my favorites, of course. Warrant. Love Warrant paired with a bright background. Makes them pop. Love to see it. On the back, though, is Sebastian. I had this up on this side at one point in time because I had so much Warrant that I decided to like flip it around. Another one of my favorites, it's Slaughter. I love Slaughter so much. If you guys don't know, Dana Strum is my favorite Slaughter member. And then on the back, Bobby Doll. Bobby Doll was my first ever rock star love. No exaggeration, 110% with you, Bobby Doll. First rock star I ever fell in love with. I was literally like 13 years old. I was just a little teenage baby, like, I was such a big fan. And I'm still a fan of Bobby. I think his musicality is amazing. He's one of my favorite musicians ever. I'm still a Poison fan, truthfully. I just saw them live a couple years ago. This is another good one. This one is tough because both sides I like, and I have put both sides up at one point or another. We've got Poison on this side, and again, this is one that's falling apart. It's very delicate. It's ripped up here at the top. There's a rip on the side too, and it's got claw marks, again, from my cat. So this is the full look of it. It's very, very nice. I love their separate names here. That's a great design choice in my opinion. And then on the back, I'm trying to be so careful with this, it's ripped almost everywhere. Warrant. Love it. And then that's that pile right there. So the rest of these are actually in protective holders, and I might be able to find some here. Oh, this is... I've always really liked this one. This one was from my mom. It's a Hit Parader cover, and then I have another cover in this as well from Metal Shop. But I always really liked this cover. It just feels so significant for the time, if that even makes any sense at all. It's actually, there's one sandwiched in between them, but it's like stuck. I need to go through almost all of these. Oh my god, I never even took the tack off of this. Like, that moving situation was insane. Like, because I took so long to pack. It was completely on me. I was a complete procrastinator when it came to packing, and then boom, lo and behold, we need to move out. None of my stuff is packed. So posters, I very carefully took them down off the wall and just got them into the binder at the very least. This Lita Ford right here, pretty sure this is laminated. Yeah, this is laminated. So this is from my mom. She must have laminated this at some point in time. But this is a really breathtaking photo of Lita. I've always really liked this one. One of my favorites that's not necessarily a poster, but an article, is this Warrant article. Magazine articles back then, so much more visually appealing than they are now, and unfortunately magazines aren't even really so much a thing anymore. I feel like it's all digital, so seeing things like this really just makes me ache for this time period. I mean, it's just a beautiful spread. What else do we have in here? Just a ton of clippings, all kinds of clippings of all types of bands. Oh, I've always been a really big fan of this one as well, this Tammy and Janie one. If it'll, like, sorry, that glare is intense, but you can see what I mean. And then, I think this is this sandwiched with another one? Yeah. Got a Skid Row centerfold in the back here. I don't know if it's becoming glaringly obvious, but Warrant is my favorite 80s band, and it was one of my mom's most favorite bands as well. I have another cover here. This one's from Metal Edge. What year is this, if it'll tell me? May. That's not a year. It does not say what year, but I'm seeing a lot of Firehouse and Trickster, so I can only guess that this is probably like, what, 1990? 1989, I would assume. Trickster, one of my all-time favorite bands. Love Trickster so much. And it's just because they're so much fun. Like, I love listening to a band and they just sound like they're having fun. That makes me enjoy the music. That's just, it's pure joy to me. And that's exactly how Trickster comes off, in my opinion. And not to mention, the work of Steve Brown is just... the work of Steve Brown. Amazing. Got some Mark Slaughter on the back here. This was actually a clipping, I think, that my friend sent me. She had this, and she knew that I was such a big Trickster fan that she sent that to me. Oh my god. I love this one right here. If I can... there we go. This up close and personal. On this side, it's Jerry Dixon, and on this side, it's Janie Lane. And it's just a bunch of information about the two of them. I wish I had this type of article for the other Warrant members, but unfortunately I don't. Warrant's four-stringer Jerry Dixon has been playing bass since he was 14, when he acquired a used Sears Special from a friend for $30. It only had 3 strings, but Jerry didn't let that stop him. More facts. Jerry picks Love in Stereo as his favorite Cherry Pie song. Janie picks Mr. Rainmaker as his favorite Cherry Pie song, which I think that's my favorite Cherry Pie song as well. I had a glam alter ego for a long time named Mrs. Rainmaker. That was my glam Instagram handle, if you will. Unfortunately, there's no way that I can go over all of these in one singular video because there's just too many. I mean, this binder is absolutely stacked. Oh, see? Mrs. Rainmaker right here. Yeah, this is my glam alter ego, Mrs. Rainmaker. My friend made that for me, actually. And I didn't even get to the actual magazine aspect. This is just like a portion of my clippings. So if you want to see more, I would love to do more videos on my magazine clippings. So let me know, everybody, and we'll make it happen. We'll hang out some more. So thanks for hanging out. As always, stay safe and don't do anything stupid out there. Peace and love.